Hey, what's up everybody? This is Mario again. Welcome to my channel. So the last video that we left off at, I was just telling you guys a little bit about me starting this journey as a Turo host. And I was just kind of going through everything that I was feeling, just kind of getting it off my chest. It's kind of like a video diary. I don't know how to do all that cartoony and thumbnails, whatever you call them. I'm still kind of working on how to cut videos and things like that, so just bear with me. Yep, so last video I was telling you that a couple days ago, my wife and I launched our new car on the Turo site in hopes to generate revenue and create some profits and quite ultimately just pay for the new car note and go from there. So today in this video, I'll talk about what happened with the car, how much Turo paid us out, I guess like the fees. We'll also dive into more of like the personal and business side of being a Turo host, and just how I generally overall came to the decision to list the car on Turo. Also, another point I like to make is I like to tell everybody, hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving with your turducken or vegan turkey or so much cranberry sauce you don't know what to do with now, or even cranberry sandwiches. I've actually had a cranberry sandwich. Shout out to my wife for making that. It was actually pretty good. And then also, hopefully you guys didn't blow all your money for all the Black Friday deals. I know me personally, I was looking for a dual air fryer and a ring for our door. So didn't spend too much money, so I'm happy about that. Also I will leave in the description area the products that I've started buying, in preparation, like the things that I clean with, GPS tracker, and just things that I've just started to just buy. So for new renters, you're probably thinking like, well, did you stalk her on the GPS app? You bet your sweet ass I did. Well, actually, no, not like that. I'll post the tracker that I bought, and I just wanted to make sure that it was working properly. So I wanted to make sure it was working and make sure the battery life, and again, I was just reading through the description on Amazon, and then there's also, with the tracker, there's a subscription that you have to buy with it. And I'll probably be switching out later for something else, because I found something else that you pay for it on the front end, but the fee a month is like $8 a month. It's bouncy. The one that I bought was the Nano Spark 7. There's nothing wrong with it. Just the monthly subscription is a little high. I'm going to, and you can cancel it at any time. So I'll probably switch from that to the bouncy product, where I think it might be 50 or 60 bucks, but the subscription is like $8 a month. So just imagine if you get several cars, then you got to pay that subscription. That $8 versus the 25, 30 is obviously better. What else did I buy? Definitely floor mats. You want to look into floor mats, because the cloth ones that come with your car, they collect dirt and they're hard to clean, versus you get like something like from like WeatherTech or Armor All. I think Dickie has a brand. The ones that I just bought are a Dickie product, and I'm not affiliated with any brands or anybody that I've mentioned. I'm just your humble consumer. So I just bought a set of floor mats. Trying to think what else. I'll leave all of that, like air fresheners. I'll leave everything that I've started to buy down in the description, and they might come from different places. They might come from your Amazons of the world, your Targets of the world, Walmarts of the world. I save big money at Menards. Again, I'm not affiliated with any of these people. I'm just your consumer, and this is where I look to shop. So I'll leave all of that down in the description. I'll leave links in the description. Also, I would like to apologize about the last video. I did not know that the comment section was cut off when I was filling out the details about the video, I think I got to a section where it said is this viewable for children? And of course, I'm not trying to cuss or do anything that would be deemed weird or funny business for this channel, just strictly about Turo for the most part. So I clicked yes, it'll be available to be viewed by children. So lo and behold, and really quick, I want to thank everybody for checking out the video, liking, subscribing, and if you attempted to leave a comment again, this is what I'm trying to explain. So I did not know that when you select that, will be viewed by children, the comment section was blocked off. I didn't figure that out until 10, 11 o'clock last night. And I'm like, oh no, I was telling everybody to leave a comment, but you couldn't. So hopefully I fixed that. Like I said, throw your ones up for all my one renters out there. Also for my Seasoned Turo Hosts, if you could pass on any knowledge, that would be kindly appreciated as well. So again, leave a comment. Hopefully I get it right this time. All right, so now on to the good stuff. So what happened, right? Okay, so we listed the car, I believe, Wednesday. Yeah, the day before Thanksgiving. And I want to say not even a couple hours from that, a gentleman actually booked a trip. It was just a one-day trip. I really didn't know too much about how the pricing went. I was still kind of fudging some numbers around. So he booked the one in the calendar. We'll get to all of that later in this video. And fudging around like the daily pricing and then the calendar availability. So I had Thursday open, Thanksgiving of course, Friday, Saturday, and today Sunday. So that, I think that night, that night, a little bit, not even after I posted the car, a gentleman comes in and books a one day trip. So at this point, I'm like, oh snap, what do I do? I'm like nervous and looking like how to book this correctly. And dude, I've read everything, but it's the feeling of actually having to go through the process of letting them know that I need to see like a valid ID, picture with their valid ID. And what I mean by valid is, and for all you new hosts, the ID has to be valid. You cannot give your car to someone with an expired ID or fake ID, because that would throw the renter and you out of the policy coverage, the insurance coverage, which we'll get into again later in this video. So I checked all of that, and then the app opens up and says, all right, hey, let's get started. So you make sure the car is clean, make sure it's in pristine condition, you sanitize it, dealing with, being in a society that we live in now, make sure the car is completely clean and sanitized. You take pictures all around the car, inside of the car. I think I might even took pictures like under the car. I don't know, pictures of the tires. I mean, you want to take as many pictures as possible for the pre-check-in. For all my new hosts, do not skip that part. That is very vital. Lord forbid something happens and you need to file a claim of some sort. So there's that. So I'm doing all of this. I'm shuffling around. My wife is looking at me crazy because I'm running around here like, okay, I need to do this. Got to go clean the car. Make sure it's got gas. The car is already set to go. The next day, he cancels the trip. And I'm like, okay. So what Turo did was, for the cancellation, they gave me half. So I think at the time, like I said, I was fudging around like the price. I think I had it set at maybe $36, $40 or something like that. So I got 18 bucks out of that for virtually doing nothing but vacuuming out the car and putting $3 of gas in it just to make sure it was past that full mark, because you take pictures of that too. First time post, make sure you do that. Take pictures of it's going to tell you, of course, if you're past this stage. I wasn't, so I didn't know what that involved. But if you're thinking about it, take pictures all around the car, inside the car, especially the odometer, where the gas is, where your current miles are, be as detailed as possible. So that, Lord forbid, there's some type of dispute, you don't leave anything to be questioned. So there's that. So yeah, so I got a cancellation from him, and then of course he reached out to me, he said he was sorry. And I said, hey man, no worries, you know, things happen, you know, keep me in mind for the next one. Shameless plug. So now, with that trip that was canceled, someone else chimed in, not even that much longer, maybe a couple hours later. It was a young woman. She needed to use the car, I believe, the morning of the 26th, Friday, until Saturday evening, until about 8 p.m. So from 10 a.m. Friday to Saturday 8 p.m., which was cool. So of course, you know, you begin to always, for if you're thinking about hosting, or of course, you know, us, if you're already in there, make sure your lines of communication are always open. There's a field in the app or in the Turo site where, you know, all the photos will be logged. There'll be a thread created where you can communicate. So it's basically like you're just your phone and your laptop. If they already aren't, they're controlling your life now, because you just want to often check or set your notifications to see if someone's left a new message or something you need to check. So keep those notifications on for Turo, just so you don't miss any communication messages or anything. So she basically told me like, hey, a couple of days ago, my car was in an accident, and I just need to go to work. I'm glad that she was upfront about it. I didn't ask her what she was using the car for, but she just straight up told me. So, and then currently, and again, this is just a tidbit for if you're thinking about becoming a host, and of course, you know, for all my one-timers, there's two ways that you can get the car ready for it to be picked up. You can do face-to-face, or you can do contactless, which you basically park your car somewhere with a lockbox, and then there's steps for that. And then once they verified the valid ID and who they say they are, then you give them the code to the lockbox. They open it up. It sits on a window. It's like if the window is mine in hand here, the lockbox is this. Now there's like a hook that goes over it that sits outside the window. And then you just basically tell them, hey, here's the code to the box. Boop, 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 boop. And then they can take the keys out, take the lockbox and the mount off of the window, and then basically kindly tell them to put it back when they're done. But in my case, I guess because those boxes are in short demand, or they're all basically sold out everywhere I've tried to look. So I'm doing face-to-face right now. Another quick tip for if you are doing face-to-face, I personally did not want to have them come to my house and pick the car up. So I picked like a neutral location, which is not too far from here, maybe 2 or 3 minutes walking distance down the street in a very well lit areas, public, where we can make the exchange. Just Lord forbid if something does go wrong with one of my renters and there's a dispute, I don't want them showing up at my front doorstep. So I wouldn't recommend you have them meet unless you have like you plan on buying like a space somewhere, but at this point, no, and I'm meeting them face to face. So I kindly told them that I'll meet her face to face, and we can exchange. I'll give you the key there, and start you can start your rental from there. So, like I was saying, she was in a car accident. She just needed to get to work for the next 2 days or so. That's fine. So the day of, that morning, so again, I'm scrambling around. I mean, I've already cleaned the car out from the last guy that canceled, but I just wanted to double check, make sure there was nothing. I cleaned it out well, sanitized it. And then in the app, for everybody that's thinking about it, in the app, there's videos that you watch on disinfecting and areas of high contact, you know, like the steering wheel, the radio, door handles, your seatbelt locks, of course the gear shift, the visor, and then also if you want to adjust the mirror. But places like that, and then of course like the seats and like the vents, but like the most contacted or hand and touch contacted places. You watch a video on how to sanitize it. I mean, it's common sense, but watch the video just in case, because it breaks it down into porous, non-porous, and semi-porous areas in the car. I'm not going to go through all of that. Ask Google, look up the definitions. You guys can do that on your own time. So I'm waiting on the girl. It's like 10, maybe a quarter to 10. And she told me that she was running late. So I'm like, okay, now this is up to you. It really didn't bother me because, you know, this is where it's sitting at and I'm already here. There was no point in canceling if she was going to be late. She told me up front she was going to be late. So 10 o'clock came, 10:15 goes by, 10:25 goes by. It's about 10:30. So a car pulls up into the parking lot where I'm at, and I'm like, oh snap! All right, here we go. It's going down. Car pulls up. I mean, guys, it's a blacked out car, tinted windows. I can't see them. I'm like, okay, what is this all about? Again, this is nothing shady or anything. I was in a public place. I was just looking at the car. I mean, this is a stranger, so you know, I don't know. Woman gets out the car, and I'm like, hey, are you so and so? And she's like, yeah, yes, sir. And I gave her the key, and she got in the car, drove off, and I walked away in the freezing cold just to walk home for 3 or 4 minutes. Got the car back. Was that Saturday night? Actually, she brought the car back a half hour early. So I think her reservation ended at 8, but she brought it back at 7. Or 7:30, excuse me, at 7:30. So, okay, cool. We pull up, my wife and I pull up, because I wasn't about to stand there in the cold. I wasn't doing that. If it was summertime, maybe I'd be cool, but not in the wintertime. So she pulls up in my car, and she gets out, but I'm thinking to myself, you know, is she about to be just waiting on the bus, or is her ride late? And then she was like, yeah, you know, and it was just something on my spirit. I'm like, are you cool with somebody coming? And then she gets into, well, you know, my ride, they're not answering their phone, blah, blah, this and that. So I end up taking her home, driving her home. That's crazy. So the stranger that has rented out my car brings the car back in mostly pristine condition. We'll get into that. Mostly pristine condition, doesn't have a way home, and I offer to give her a ride home, which was cool. She lived like maybe 5-10 minutes up the road. That was fine. Like I said, it was on my spirit. I didn't want to leave a young woman out there. It was like, you know, close. It was getting close to 8 o'clock here in Columbus, Ohio. It was the temperature dropped 30, 35 degrees. She had just got off work. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. That's just, you know, that just wouldn't have been cool. That's not how I'm built. So I was just like, hey, you need a ride. Gave her a ride home. And then, so on the way home, or on her way to where she lives, you know, I was just kind of like, well, you know, hey, you're my first renter. You know, how was everything with the car? She was like, yeah, the car was cool. Car is great. And that made me feel good. And then I was like, well, what does it look like on your end of the app? Like, what does it show? And so she pulled up the screen, and man, Turo, come on, bro, come on. So if you never rented, I rented with the Turo app before, I highly recommend it. So I guess the way it worked if you decide to rent somebody's car, so there's the daily rate. Then there's what's like, I guess you pick some type of insurance coverage. And then there's like a trip fee. I'm still working on that. If anybody knows what that line is, drop a comment in the drop a comment in the comment section, please. So yeah, there's that line, and then there's the sales tax, and I'm like, oh my god. We've rented before, but I just pay for it. My wife books all that stuff, and I just say, all right, cool. What am I paying? Let's get this going. So I don't get into the itemizations of it all, but so yeah. So she showed me that, and then she was just telling me, she, like I said, car accident. She was trying to get everything together. Lo and behold, she's also a mechanic. So here you have stranger renting my car, driving her home, building a rapport in the car. She's a mechanic. Dropped her off at home maybe 5-10 minutes later. There her car was on the side of the street, looked like a crushed beer can. And I think she said she had another car, but she hadn't had time to fix it. I think it was like a Jeep. So I was like, oh, well, hope all everything works out for you, queen. Be safe, God bless, and good night. And then so at that point, the trip ended. I'm on my way back home. So then there's the closeout of the trip reservation, where you just document after the trip just take pictures around the car. So I took pictures around the car, but it was in the dark. So I think that was a mistake that I made, because you can actually wait. Well, I wouldn't say wait, but you have a 24-hour window after the reservation ends to document pictures. Wait till daylight and take them, but I took them in the dark. Like I said, I'm learning as I go how the workflow goes. So the next morning I go out, and she had told me, like, yeah, no, I didn't smoke in your car or anything. I go out to the car. It's like little, like a half of a pack of a little Black and Mild wrapper. There was like some little Black and Mild crumbs on the seat. Oh my God. But it was cool. I could have got her for it, but I let it go. It wasn't that deep. So there was that. So those two, that one full trip plus the cancellation, let me see, what was it? So my rate for those 2 days was $65. So that came to $130 for 2 days. Now, with the Turo insurance plan that I picked the 60/40 plan, which I'll talk about that later in the video. 60/40 plan, which means I keep 60% of that, and Turo gets their cut off the top of 40%. So the 2 days, $130, and then our cut was the $78 plus the $18 cancellation fee. I believe quick math was at 96. Don't bash me in the comments. My math isn't what it used to be. But the $96 in 2 days, I mean, it's not bad. It's not a bad start, right? I mean, I wouldn't know. This is my only gauge that I have to go off of. So that was basically it for the trips, and I just make sure the car was cleaned out, and I'm just waiting on another booking at this point. So there it is. Real quick, let's touch on the personal and business debate. I mean, it's largely debated. People talk about it all the time in the groups, but I'm of the mindset is you got to start from somewhere. Like I said, I don't have or know any. I don't have $8, $9, $10,000 disposable. I have it in like my Robinhood account. I'm doing some long-term investing. I'm a dividend chaser. Robinhood is not paying me to say that, but I've began another journey with investing. I've been doing it for about 2 years. So that's where all my money is, and I'm not about to take that money out just to go buy another car, and I don't know really anything about this rental car space. So again, disposable liquid, 5, 6, 7 grand. No, I don't know any private dealers. Don't have any rapport with dealers at all. So I think it's actually a good idea to start with your own personal car and just give yourself that time and space to see if this is really something you want to do. So with saying that, for everybody that's thinking about doing it and you have a personal car, I'm just putting a disclaimer out there. Do not take anything personally that I'm about to say. So if you're thinking about using your personal cars, a couple things you got to do. So Shout out to all of my people that put the dice in the mirror that hangs from the front mirror. Take the dice down, put them away. Nobody wants to see that. Shout out to all of my people out there that put their baby shoes hanging on the mirror, your baby's Jordans or a pair of Nikes, or they might even be your baby shoes. I don't know. Listen, take them down, put them away. Nobody wants to see that. Shout out to all my people that put the that deodorizer thing that looks like a hockey puck, but you haven't changed it in like 6 months. Get it off the dashboard. Get you some Gooby going. Get that little circle that's left from the sticky part. You got to clean that off of there. You got to get that off of there. Nobody wants to see that. If you've got like those old Glade vent clips, instead of hanging the deodorizer from the mirror, you got those clips, but you haven't changed them out, and I think they only last for 30 days, and it's been 6 months. Pull them out. Get some new ones. That's just, you just got to do that. Shout out to all my people that just kind of eat in their cars. You got to get rid of the Chick-fil-A bags. Your whole passenger seat is full of Chick-fil-A bags and McDonald's and God knows what else ever you've been eating in that car while you drive. You got to get all that out of there. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to smell that. Shout out to all my people that use their car for work and play. Like you got your work laptop in the back seat, but then you also got your funky gym clothes back there. No, that's not going to work either. You got to get all of that out of it. Shout out to all my ladies. You know who you are. You leave work, but then you got a pair of work shoes, but then you got the kicking and pumps in the back. Listen, you got to clear all your shoes out the back seat. You got to get rid of all of that. At minimum, maybe a complimentary umbrella, or well, like if you stay in a all-weather state and it's snowing, maybe a scraper. But that's about it. You got to clean out the car as much as possible. Also, shout out to all those people that have that old seat thing that look like it's got like the set of beads, but they're starting to break off, and you just are just too late to change. Get rid of all of that. Nobody wants to see that. Get that out of here. If you got like a baby on board thing stuck in the mirror, stuck in one of the glasses, but your child is like 8 years old, they're not a baby anymore. Pull that off. Nobody wants to see that. Or you got that visor thing that's on the window, but it don't work. You can only get the one side down, or the baby then destroyed it. Get rid of it. Nobody wants to see that. On the side of the car, outside of like no stickers. Hey, listen, I rock with, Hogwarts. I rock with, Harry Potter and Marvel, and I rock with all of the groups out there. You got to peel those stickers off. This is about business. This is not about your personal belief system. You got to get that I voted for this person or I voted for that person. Peel them off. Nobody cares if you're on the red side or the blue side. The only side that we're on is the green side. So, like I said, your car has to be in pristine condition. It can't be older than 12 years old, and it can't have. You have to have less than 130 miles. So anything over 130 miles, no. And if it's over 12 years old, no. Unless you have like a specialty car, like a muscle car. Then you can use the muscle car, but I think it has another set of different expectations, another list that you have to comply with. So that's all on the personal side. So if you want to use your personal car, you got to clean it out completely. Just like if you go with a traditional rental car, you don't see baby shoes hanging from the mirror. You basically want your car to look just like that. Now, from a business aspect, if you are thinking about doing this, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? How much time I can devote to this? How am I committed to this? Do I have time to do it? things like that. And then I would also start with going back to the car from a business standpoint. Make sure your car is working, like everything mechanical, safety wise. Get all of that, get the mechanical checked out. If you've been ignoring that oil change light for the last several months, go get your oil changed, please. If you've been ignoring that check engine light for the last several months, get that checked, please. If your tire light or that little icon is flashing, get your tires checked, brake checked, the whole nine. And that's simply because if there's ever a dispute or you run into a problem, you have it all documented. Then also, keep in mind, new hosts, that a car inspection will be due maybe 2 or 3 months after you've launched your car on the site. It's mandatory now. So a maintenance check and a safety check. Do those to your car first. And then make sure, of course, dings, dents, scratches, hopefully those are minimal. Check on all of that stuff before you do anything. And now also from a business perspective, like I said, I would read and go through the site. I think there's even a section called Carculator. You can actually see how much your current car can possibly make on the site. It's a guesstimate, it's a ballpark, and again, it depends on how many days out of the month that you're doing this. I'm doing this basically just every weekend of the month because it is a personal car. But I plan to just rent it out over on the weekends between Friday to Sunday. And then now, since Thanksgiving is over with, going into December, probably that week of December, because we'll be on vacation. So I mean, the car will just be sitting here. So why not post it? And hopefully somebody rents it out that whole time. That would be dope. In my mind, I'm hoping that's how it would go. That'll be dope. So, look realistically how many days from that calculator, how many days you want to actually do this. I guess the average is, 15 to 20 days, roughly. But a 15, half the month, going into 20 days, a little bit over half. In the event I purchase another car, then I'll probably launch that car on the site for the full 30 days. But since this is my personal car, then I'm splitting between business and personal. So look around the site. I would also do just like a generic search with the car that you currently have, if that's what you're thinking about doing. Go to where it says, hey, you can book now, or search for available dates. I would go up in that. It's going to ask you for like the current city that you're in, or whatever, or if you're if you're going on vacation. Well, actually, no. If you're hosting, if you're hosting, put in your particular city that you currently live in, and then I would schedule dates. I wouldn't use any dates like now. I would go maybe 2 or 3 months in advance, because nobody knows what's going on 2 or 3 months. I think we're going into January, February. Anyway, and then put in like a time frame of like a week, and then just do a search on like your car. It'll break it down by make, model, year. There's different filters that you can just kind of fudge around with and figure it out. And then just see what people are charging that have your type of car, or before you go and just buy a whole nother car. And if it's something that you're really invested in doing, you can start with a simple search like that. On the high end, you got your Teslas of the world, Corvettes, BMWs, Mercedes Benzes of the world, like your exotics. You got like those slingshots. There's a niche for everything. You got your Jeeps are very popular. I don't know what's going on with Jeep. My bonus sister, she has a Jeep. It's actually pretty dope. So there's a niche for Jeeps. Definitely Jeeps. My car, 2019 Honda Civic. Also, I'll leave a link to my page, shameless plug. If you know anybody that's coming into town, I'll leave you my link and they can check out the dates if they want. So there's that. Let me see what else is popular. You got your you got your economy size. You got your Yaris's, I believe Mazda 2. some model of a Mazda 2. You got your Prius. I think there's another one. Can't think of the other economy cars. So yeah, I would research that if you're using your personal car, or if you decided to go and buy another car and either use your personal car for Turo or the new car that you're about to buy for Turo. Either way is fine. But yeah, I would do that. But then if you're in the market for buying a car and listening specifically on Turo, I would do your due diligence. Shout out to all my analysts out there. There's actually a YouTuber that I watch. He's pretty good on it. Check out, I think their site is the Bamboo Project. I'm gonna put a link of all the people that I watch and get tips from and stuff. So do all of your analytics ahead of time, and then go to, like, your Carvanas of the world, your CarMaxes of the world. I'm trying to think who else is out there. I believe their name is Zoom. There's another place out there like Carvana, Zoom. But anyway, look at those types of places and just look at the car, how much the car note is. Of course, that's all your own personal business, how much you can put down, how much you can manage a month, and then plug that information into seeing what car or what type of demographic or what type of market you're in, to see if you're like me, to make that money back from renters. So that's kind of what you can do from the business side. I mentioned something about the plan. So what people don't understand about Turo is, well, there's a couple things. So shout out to, I think, my homegirl Angie. I posted this on my Facebook page. I don't believe that she knew, or she might have heard about it before. So if you don't know what Turo is, basically it's a car share. It's a peer-to-peer car sharing app. I think they're based out of San Francisco. Started back in like 2010. So it's nothing new. It's been out for a while. And again, there's different sites. There's a Get Around, Avail, Hire Car, but Turo has is specifically most predominantly probably the most popular one, and it's scalable, and then it's available for growth. Those other sites, there's different markets that they cover, but Turo is the one where it's peer-to-peer company that you can rent someone's car from them instead of going through your traditional your Enterprises of the world, your Hertz's, Budget, Avis, whoever else is out there. There's nothing wrong with those places, but we live in a society, this microwave society. I've heard somebody say that, where we want everything like right now, right? So you can do it from the comfort of your home. Your banking information is already on the site. There's no waiting around to see if inventory is there. There's no lines to wait in. I feel like the selection is vast. You'll be amazed once you go on the Turo site what you can find. Like I said, you can rent one of those slingshot things for the summer. You can rent somebody's Corvette, rent somebody's Jeep, Mercedes-Benz, Lexus, Tesla. I think there's even a niche for if you wanted to like rent somebody's like box truck for the day instead of going through like your traditional U-Haul, or if you need something moved, or if you just need to rent a truck, period. So there's a little bit of some type of cars for everybody. The selection is vast. It's too much to keep up with. So it's more convenient, and it's quicker. They don't put like a block on your card or anything. Like I said, there's no line waiting. You can just get the car just like that. So check out the actual Turo site and become a renter. Try the renter. For all of my people that are thinking about it, become a renter first and see how the process goes, what it looks like on your end. And then once you rent that car, look at it. It's a good idea to model what that car looks like and emulate, the messages that they use and how they go about their business. Iron sharpens iron. So if you have a car that you've picked and they've got tons of reviews, 15, 20 some odd trips, they're like 5-star. Look at what they're doing. Look at, how they treat you. Read some of their comments, because it's more or less, what I found out is it's more or less I mean, they'll say like great car, but most of the comments that I see is like, oh, the host was so, the host was nice. You know, they took care of like the little last minute, you know, thing that I need, et cetera, et cetera. So the part about it, the car is great itself. The car is going out, but it's more of a, even through like messages, you build that relationship through messages, or in my case, face to face. The girl didn't even leave me a review. I mean, come on. But I know it was something else I had to tell you guys. Yeah. So just look at how, when you become a renter, if you rent a car, look at how it looks. Look at how the person communicates with you. And I would model what they're doing. It seems to be working for them, so it could work for you. So I'm trying to think. Oh, with the insurance plans. So the way, so Turo site is free, but their main way that they generate revenue is through insurance. So they're like a insurance company. So they have it broken down. I think there's like 6. Let me see. I think I wrote it down somewhere. I'm sorry. I know this is probably breaking the fourth wall in the YouTube world, but I wrote it down. All right. So they have like a 90 plan, 85 plan, 75 plan, and a 60 plan. So the 60 plan that I'm in right now works for me simply because I'm just dipping my foot in the water, seeing how this goes. And again, I get 60% of what I bring in, and Turo gets their 40. Now, if you read through the site, all the plans give full detail on how they break down. I also picked the 60-40 plan simply because, Lord forbid, if something happens, the car is covered and I have no deductible. Whereas, for example, if you go up to the, the 75 plan, sorry if I'm, that means you keep 75% of the profits, and then Turo gets 25, but you lose Turo covering the deductible, and the deductible comes out of your pocket. And what I mean by your pocket is it comes out of you, the host, pocket, not the renter. And then for all you seasoned Turo hosts, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but yeah, so if anything happens, if it was their fault or if it was your renter's fault or whatever, you come up with the deductible. I guess unless you guys work something out, like they say, hey, my bad. But again, a seasoned Turo host can you guys can figure all that out in the comments. But from the 60-40 plan where they cover everything to a 75-25 plan where you have a deductible, or going up to the 85 and they get 15, that 250 goes up maybe 500 to 1,000, and so on and so on. So I picked the 60-40 again just because I don't really know the whole ins and outs of this. If I'm doing this long term, this is a project, but I'm happy so far about everything. And Lord forbid something goes wrong, Turo will cover it all. And then I just need to make sure this where we go back to all the pick. Do not skip that step, because that's your insurance policy. That's your coverage. Make sure you cover all of that, no matter what. So that's why I picked the 60-40 plan. And then just the reason why I got into this is because I was in a car accident myself. So I had a 2005 Scion. It was paid for, had a lot of miles on it. I think I'm still doing the gig economy stuff. Shout out to all my Amazon Flex people, DoorDash people, Postmates, whatever else you into, roadie or dispatch. So I was coming back from that. I wasn't even 2 or 3 minutes up the road. Guy hits me from the back. I didn't hit anybody else in that, creating a domino effect. And shout out to my wife. I had started putting money away because I knew that car was, the car was fairly old, so it was going to be time for it to go at some point, but put money aside. So combined with the money that was paid out from the insurance and then the cash that I had stowed away from it, we were able to put down a pretty sizable down payment. And, we got, I think our car payments are $300, and then with gap insurance, it's $15. So $315. So then I was just like, I had heard about Turo, but I knew none of the cars that I had would kind of fit the bill, or at least I didn't know now. Remember, can't be older than 12 years old, no more than 130 miles. But I think, I was right outside of that with the other car. So I was like, I looked at my wife like, hey, let's try it. I mean, let's see where this goes. So that's what kind of brought me to where I am now. So like I said, it's been cool so far. And again, if you're thinking about it, think about your workload or your workflow throughout your day. So another journey I'm on is creating several streams of income. So I got a day gig, I got a night gig, I do the side stuff. I do the live trivia at a bar one night a week. So I've got several streams of income. Thank God. I'm very fortunate in that aspect, especially with dealing with everything. Main job was deemed essential and everything else, with DoorDash and all that stuff. But yeah, different streams of income. I thought, why not? This one is it's hands on, but you can do everything from the comfort of your home, outside of going to get gas, making sure the car is clean, and things like that. So I thought, why not? Why not have the car pay for itself in that month, or depending on how successful it is, 2 or 3 months up the line, and then just take profits from there and do whatever else is needed to be done. Also, for new renters, keep in mind, we generate revenue first, profits later. And then once you start to build profits, this is another part of the business. Make sure that all of your fees are covered, car payment, car insurance, cleaning, anything miscellaneous like oil change, maintenance. You might want to put some money away for maintenance. And then you might also want to put some money away for tax season, because you get a 1099, and I think you just need to write off and claim everything that you possibly can. But in case your tax bill is a little bit, you'll have that money there. So that's another quick tip that I got from another YouTube page. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So that was it. Like I said, I'm waiting on my next renter. We'll see. Like I said, I'm only doing I'm doing Fridays to Sundays, roughly, what is that, 3, 6, 9, 12, like 12, and then possibly if there's like a holiday, 15, 20. I think what I've found out so far is that the most popular times are like Thanksgiving, 4th of July. You got Christmas coming up, New Year's, somebody might go to something. It's definitely summertime, so a lot of travel goes down in the summer. And Columbus, Ohio is a beautiful place, a lot of things to do during the summer. So we get, believe it or not, tourism, and then of course during the fall, Buckeye football, basketball, and whatever have you. So yeah, like I said, throw your ones up. I'm right there with you. Embrace the journey. Let's do it. If you're thinking about it, like I said, everything I said in this video was for your own good. Know what you are getting into. Do not fall into the celebrity of saying like, oh, I'm a Turo host, Turo hosting is free. The hustle is the fees on the back end. And then also you're selling an experience. So maybe the person that's renting your car doesn't have a nice car, or they're thinking about buying your car. So sell that experience. Sell how clean and pristine everything looks. Sell the smoothness of the rides. Sell the mileage, the mileage per gallon in the highway of that particular car that they rent out. Sell that experience, and then also just be as communicative as possible with that, setting up the trip reservations and things like that. So yeah, like, okay, so this time, hopefully, the comments are open. So like and subscribe to the channel. Everybody that watched the first one, thank you so much. You guys do not know how much that means to me. I'm humbled by that. Like I said, I don't know how to do all the glitz and glamour and add music and all that stuff. I'll figure all that stuff out. I just want to give it to you straight from here. This is just raw and uncut. Well, you'll see splits in the movie, but everything that I'm feeling right now, I just wanted to get it out there and get it on video. So like I said, throw your ones up. If you're a one-car renter using it for personal and business, drop a comment for Seasoned Turo Hosts. If I've said anything wrong, please correct me. I don't know what I'm doing. I need your help. Help me. I'm not a know-it-all. I don't claim to be one. The most consistent thing in this life is change. So I'm embracing something that's out of my comfort zone. I'm giving my car to a stranger, for God's sakes. I don't know what I'm doing. Please help me. Help us. Help people who are one-car renters just getting into this and people thinking about it. So, and then also in this space, you know, please respect the channel. You know, good vibes only. We're not going to make fun of people here. We're not going to talk about people here. I won't allow it. If I see a comment that's weird or crazy, once I figure out how to delete it, it's gone. So, you know what I'm saying? Just good vibes, you know, drop gems, help people out that are trying to enter this space, or maybe a tip, something that they've overlooked, or something that's changed with the page over the Turo site over the last 7 years. Help us out. Like I said, like, subscribe, and then shameless plug. If you know anybody coming into town in Columbus, Ohio, need a car, I'll drop my Turo site here in the comment, in the whatever that is, the description section, whatever. So thanks again. Throw your ones up. I'm right here with you. Love you guys. Peace. Thank you for checking me out.